Hello friends and my dear students, welcome back to my channel Phoenix Physics. Today we are going to learn calculus. Newton and Leibniz independently developed this calculus. Newton originally used this calculus to analyze the motion of the planets around the sun. But nowadays, calculus has become an essential tool in most of the applications of science and technology. What is calculus? The rate of change of one quantity with respect to another is calculus. Simply we can denote it as the derivative form dy by dx or dy by dt, like that. Simply we can say, if something is moving, you want to measure exactly what is happening at some point in time or space, you will probably need to use calculus. Why do we use calculus? To check the instantaneous rate of change of one quantity with respect to another. For example, the derivative of displacement of the object with respect to time will give velocity. What is velocity? That is distance travelled by time taken is nothing but velocity. So, the derivative of displacement with respect to time gives velocity. Same way, the derivative of velocity with respect to time gives acceleration. Derivative of momentum. What is the formula for momentum? P is equal to mv. The derivative of momentum, that is dp by dt, is equal to m is a scalar, m dv by dt. dv by dt is equal to a. So, ma. So, the derivative of linear momentum is equal to force. According to Newton's second law. What is Newton's second law? F is equal to ma. So, the derivative of displacement with respect to time gives velocity. Derivative of velocity with respect to time gives acceleration. Derivative of momentum is equal to force. So, the rate of change of one quantity with respect to another gives some relation. Second one, you can easily find maximum and minimum value of a curve. Not only maximum and minimum value, you can easily calculate profit and loss in business also. So, it is an important mathematical tool in our day-to-day life. Next, we will discuss important terms in differential calculus. First one is function. Any physical quantity is represented by a function in mathematics. It can be denoted as f of x, or in general we can write y is equal to f of x. For example, t as a function of time, x as a function of time. This t represents temperature and this t represents time. Similarly, x represents position and t represents time. Here, temperature as a function of time, which means depends on the time the temperature will vary. Depends on the time the position of the moving object will vary. So, temperature is denoted as temperature as a function of time and position is denoted as position as a function of time. Next one is independent variable. Independent variables are inputs to the function. For example, y is equal to f of x. Here, x is our independent variable because this is input to the function f of x. So x is an independent variable. Then what about dependent variable? The name itself you can say dependent variable is a variable whose value always depends or determined by other variable. Here y is our dependent variable. If x varies, y will also vary. Suppose if you want to plot a graph, you should mark independent variable in x-axis. This is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. You should always plot independent variable in x-axis. You should always mark dependent variable in y-axis. For example, temperature as a function of time. Here which one is independent variable? Our time. So in x-axis you take time interval. Then temperature. This is our dependent variable. In y-axis you take temperature. Derivatives. Third important term is derivatives. Simply we can say slope. If you find out slope from the graph, that is nothing but our derivative. Then fourth one is limit. Limit tells us the value. Limit is just a number, okay. So limit tells us the value that a function approaches as the function inputs get closer and closer to some number. This word is important. Inputs get closer and closer to some number. There are four important terms in differential calculus. One is function, independent and dependent variable, then derivatives, finally limits. Next we will discuss the term derivative. Just now I said derivative is nothing but slope. Consider this example. I drove a car from Bangalore to Chennai at a constant speed. That is, first 1 hour I drove at 50 km per hour. Then 60, 70, 80 and 90. I constantly increase the speed of the car. So you can get the graph like this. You plot this graph between time and displacement. You can get straight line. How do you find out my speed? You just draw one slope between any 2 points. Okay. This is our slope. This one is x. So the small portion is delta x. This one is y. The small portion is delta y. Then how do you mark slope? Slope is nothing but change in y divided by change in x. Or we can say vertical distance divided by horizontal distance. So change in y means delta y, change in x means delta x. Consider another example. Here I drove the car from Bangalore to Chennai at different speed. First 1 hour I drove at 50 km, then 60, again 80, 100, 150 and so on. So you can get the graph like this, curve shaped graph. Here how do you find out the slope? If it is straight line means you can directly draw the slope and you can calculate my speed. So what is delta y by delta x here? This is nothing but speed or velocity. Okay. Here I cannot draw the slope directly because I got curve shaped graph. For this you should draw one tangent line and then you draw the slope, then you can easily calculate my velocity. I'll repeat, if it is straight line means you can directly draw the slope. If it is curve shaped graph means first you should draw the tangent line and then find out the slope. Why do we need tangent line? Tangent line is useful because it allows us to find the slope of a curved function at a particular point on the curve. This word is important, at a particular point on the curve. For example, consider a circle, it has radius r, you draw one tangent line, the tangent line should be perpendicular to radius of the circle. You can draw tangent line at any point like this. So this is also one tangent line and this is my radius. This is also one tangent line, this is one radius. So tangent line should be perpendicular to radius for circle. Suppose I get the graph like this. How do you draw tangent line? Here this shape does not have radius. Then how do you draw tangent line? Here one important rule, the tangent line should touch any one of the point on the curve. Any one of the point on the curve. If it is circle means the line should be, tangent line should be perpendicular to the radius. If it is curve shaped graph means the line should touch any one of the point on the curve. Up to this clear? Suppose my graph is like this. How do you draw tangent line? You take any one of the point. Suppose if you take the point here means you draw the tangent line like this. Suppose if you want to plot tangent line to this point means like this. If it is curve shaped graph means the tangent line should touch any one of the point on the graph. I need this diagram only. Next we will discuss how to find out the slope of the tangent line. Look at this graph. This curve is my f of x. F of x is nothing but a function. In x-axis you take time, in y-axis you take displacement. A and B are the 2 points on the graph. You just connect these 2 points by a line. This line is called as secant line. What is secant line? It is nothing but a straight line which connects 2 points on the graph. So here A and B are my points. These 2 points connected by a line, that line is called secant line. Now my aim is to find out the slope of the tangent line. You should convert this secant line into tangent line. First, initially A and B in this position. So this black line gives the slope of A and B, right? This black portion gives the slope. Now you reduce the distance. Reduce the distance between A and B, or we can say you bring the points A and B close to each other. In the beginning A is here, after that I brought A and B close to each other. This green part is second position. Here you can get the slope like this. This is first slope, this is second slope. Again I brought A and B close to each other. This red portion, this is my third slope. If you want to draw tangent line means you should bring the 2 points close to each other at particular distance, at a very small distance. If you draw the slope, it appears to meet at some point. At that point you draw one tangent line. This black portion is our tangent line. So I have drawn in a magnified manner like this. So this is my curve. I brought A and B close to each other. I have drawn one tangent line. This is my slope delta y by delta x. Initially we got only secant line. If you reduce the distance between the 2 points, you can get tangent line. For your better understanding, I will give one example. Consider a circle. You take very small part on the circle. That part appears to be a straight line like this. So this is my small portion. So in this portion, the curved shape appears to be a straight line, right? Curved line in a very small region can be approximated by a straight line. Same concept. If you reduce the distance between the 2 points, it appears to meet at particular point. At that point, you can easily draw the tangent line. Or we can say, if you bring 2 points close to each other, then you can get tangent line. Up to this clear? So far we discussed about what is tangent line, how to convert from secant line to tangent line. Next we are going to find out the slope of the tangent line. So this is our final diagram. This curve represents y is equal to f of x. That f of x is a function. Okay. So consider 2 points A and B. Now you mark the coordinates. So this is my x-axis. So you draw one perpendicular line to x-axis and perpendicular line to y-axis. So up to this distance is x and up to this distance is y. So you can easily mark the coordinates as x comma y. Okay. Then what about B? This distance is delta x and this distance is delta y. I hope you know that. Now what about this point? From B you draw perpendicular line to x-axis and perpendicular line to y-axis. So this is x plus delta x and this one is y plus delta y. Next we are going to find out the slope. What slope formula is delta y, that is change in y divided by change in x. Delta y divided by del x. What is given? Y is given, y is equal to f of x, because this curve represents y is equal to f of x. If x changes from x to x plus delta x means y will also vary from y plus delta y. Why? Because this y is dependent variable, it depends on x. So if any other changes in x means it will affect y also. That is why if x change from x to x plus delta x means y will also change from y to y plus delta y. Up to this clear? Then you substitute y and y plus delta y value in the slope formula. What is delta y? F of x plus delta x minus f of x. Why did I write this function? Because we need delta y. If you want delta y means you can write like this: y plus delta y minus y will give delta y. Look at this diagram. The whole portion is y plus delta y. This small one, this portion is y. I need this part alone. How do you find out this part? Just subtract from y plus delta y. You subtract this portion and this portion, you can get this small one. I have written delta y is equal to y plus delta y minus y. You know that y plus delta y is our f of x plus delta x. Then y is nothing but f of x. I just substituted the value divided by del x. Now you apply the condition limit. Limit x tends to 0, delta y by del x is equal to limit x tends to 0, f of x plus delta x minus f of x divided by delta x. Why did I apply the limit? Because if you reduce the distance, that is initially a and b in this position, if you bring a and b close to each other means, that is if you reduce the delta x distance means, this delta y by delta x becomes our derivative dy by dx. Or we can say, when limit x tends to 0, delta y by delta x represented as dy by dx. dy by dx is nothing but derivative. Or we can say instantaneous velocity at a point P. This is our point P. So at point P, the derivative is dy by dx. First you draw one tangent line and then find out the slope. That slope will give instantaneous velocity. Up to this clear? Next we will see derivatives of some common function. So first important point is d by dx of x to the power n is equal to, bring this power like this, n x power n minus 1. This is very important formula. D by dx of x to the power of n is equal to n into x power n minus 1. For example, y is equal to x square means, how do you find out dy by dx? dy by dx is nothing but, bring the 2 here, 2x power 2 minus 1, that is 2x. d by dx of constant will give 0. For example, d by dx of 5, any number, okay, constant value means the derivative will give 0. d by dx of ab, a and b, okay, how do you find out the formula? If d by dx of ab means a into db by dx plus b into dA by dx. This is one formula. D by dx of sin x is equal to cos x. Then d by dx of cos x equal to minus sin x. These are the important formulas in differential calculus. This one is important. D by dx of x to the power n means n x power n minus 1. Constant means 0. Then AB means a dB by dx plus b dA by dx. Sin x means cos x. Cos x means minus sin x. I hope this video is useful to you. If you like my video, please share and subscribe my video. Thank you.